Alright, let's talk about Rabbit Trap. I literally just finished raking my brain over this movie because this is one of those movies where you don't really finish it when the credits have rolled. It just kind of lingers. It's like the movie sat down next to me after the film is finished and was like, hey, we're not done yet. And honestly, I kind of love it when movies do that. So yeah, this is Rabbit Trap, directed by Bryn Chainey. And yeah, this is going to be spoiler free because honestly, I think for a movie like this, going in blind is like half the experience. Like, the less you know, the better. And I'll just say this up front. This movie isn't going to be for everyone. But if it is for you, oh boy, it's going to crawl around in your brain for a while. So going into this, I didn't have like super specific expectations going in or anything. I wasn't sitting there like, oh, this is going to be this kind of thing, and it's going to go here, and it's going to go here, and it's going to do this. It was more of a vibe expectation. I was just kind of expecting something I could really sink my teeth into. You know those films that really feel like they're asking something of you? Like, they're not just there to entertain you for 90 minutes and then leave your head. They want you to sit with them. They want you to work with them a little bit. That's more or less what I was hoping for. And obviously, I cannot overstate this enough. The fact that this is set in Wales is such a huge thing for me because obviously, I mean, if you can't tell already, I'm Welsh and representation, baby. Obviously there are some, but we don't really get enough films that just feel purely Welsh rather than just using Wales as a vague, moody backdrop. So that alone had me excited, but also quite anxious, because when a film is set somewhere that's close to your heart, you're way more sensitive to whether it feels authentic or not. So yeah, I went in hoping for something authentic, something that felt a bit weird, something psychological, and something that actually uses its setting. So real quick, Rabbit Trap follows married couple Daphne and Darcy, who are two musicians, and they move from London to Wales to complete their new album. By accident, they record a mystical sound that's never been heard before, and gradually disconnect from reality. And that's about the crux of it. You don't need to know more than that going into this. So this film is weird. And I mean that in the most affectionate way possible. This is one of those films where you finish it and your immediate reaction isn't just, oh, that was amazing, or oh, that was terrible. It's kind of more like, okay, I need a minute. And I genuinely think movies like this are some of the most interesting ones to talk about, because there is so much to unpack here, and I have not a single doubt in my mind that most of it went over my head on the first watch. But that's kind of the point, I guess. But I'll do my best here. This doesn't feel like the kind of film you can just take in completely after one viewing. It feels layered. It feels intentional in the way that it withholds things from you. And instead of frustrating me, that actually made me like it a lot more, because it trusts you. The movie isn't holding your hand. It just kind of shows you things, sometimes very quietly, sometimes very strangely. And then it kind of just sits back and is like, okay, you deal with that. And I really respect that. If you're into weird, psychological folk horror, this is absolutely going to be your thing. And when I say folk horror, I don't mean monsters doing jump scares or monsters jumping out behind trees. This isn't that kind of film at all. It's more about the unease of it all. It's that creeping feeling that something isn't right. It's that slow, gnawing discomfort that just builds and builds and builds until you realise you didn't even know when it started. It's the kind of horror that sneaks up on you and then later you're like, why did that scene make me feel so unsettled? Nothing even happened. And that's exactly what this movie's going for. It's more unsettling than it is scary. It's going more for atmosphere, implication, and emotional disorientation, rather than just showing you something conventionally terrifying. If you're expecting a fast-paced horror with lots of jump scares, super obvious answers, and things just make sense, this is not going to be for you. But that's fine. Not every movie has to be for everyone. This very much sits in that A24 adjacent slow burn horror space. The kind of thing people will either call it hypnotic or boring, just depending on their taste. Personally, I'm very much on the hypnotic side. The one thing I've seen people struggle with, and I get it, is the nothing of it all in this movie. And I say nothing in quotation marks because it's actually not nothing, it's just not loud. There are long stretches where the film feels like it's just existing, sitting in environments, letting moments breathe, letting silence hang. And if you're someone who needs constant stimulation or constant narrative progression, this might test your patience a little bit. But for me, that nothing eventually turns into something really special, because when it does all come together by the end, you realise all those little small moments, they were doing a lot of the work. They were setting a mood, they were planting ideas, they were making you feel a certain way without you realising it. Because when it clicks, or at least partially clicks, it's really satisfying. Even now recording this and talking about it, I'm still trying to wrap my head around certain elements. I'm still replaying scenes in my head that I'm thinking, wait, what did that mean? And I kind of love that. Without spoiling anything, the folklore this film explores is genuinely fascinating. And this doesn't feel like it treats folklore as a gimmick or a checklist. It feels like it's been woven into the story rather than just slapped on top of it. It's subtle, it's patient, and it trusts that you'll either pick up on it or you just won't. And both experiences are valid. It also doesn't feel like it's explaining folklore to you like you're a child. It's not like here's the legend, here's the meaning, here's the moral. It just lets it exist. And that makes it feel way more unsettling in my opinion. Because folklore, especially folk horror, is often at its scariest when it's half understood, where it feels ancient and unknowable and slightly out of reach. This film really leans into that. Okay, let's talk about Wales because I have to. I genuinely love the setting in this. And not just because I'm Welsh, although yes, that is a big part of it. But beyond that, it does use Wales in a meaningful way. The landscapes aren't just pretty backgrounds. They feel integral to the tone, the isolation, the weather, the sense of space and quiet. All of that feeds into the unease of the film. It feels grounded in its location rather than interchangeable. You couldn't just pick this story up and plonk it somewhere else without it feeling like it's losing something. And that made me really happy, because there's something really special about seeing a place you recognise, portrayed with intention and care, especially in a genre I absolutely love. This feels like a Welsh story, and I absolutely love it for that. Dev Patel and Rosy McEwen are both fantastic as well. They share a really great dynamic, and their relationship is very interesting, and the film touches on some interesting themes without shoving them in your face. I do want to be completely clear about this though. I completely understand some people aren't going to vibe with this movie at all. If you need clear answers, if you need things spelled out, if you want a strong traditional narrative arc with a nice beginning, middle and end that ties everything up neatly, this probably isn't going to be your thing, because this film is way more interested in questions than it is answers. It's more about how it makes you feel than what it tells you outright. And personally, I'm really into that. But I totally get it if someone walks away from that and just gets nothing from it. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this. It's nothing I would call incredible or life-changing, but it's a really solid slow burn that I can already tell is going to stick with me for a while. It's the kind of film that you want to keep talking about after it's finished, that you want to keep thinking about, that you want to hear other people's interpretations of. And honestly, that's the highest kind of compliment I can give a movie like this. It didn't spoon-feed me, it didn't play it safe. It went for something weird, unsettling, and ethereal. So if you're into psychological folk horror or just slow burns, or if you enjoy movies that trust you to meet them halfway, I definitely recommend giving Rabbit Trap a go. Just don't expect it to explain itself. Honestly, that's part of the fun though. But yeah man, those are just my thoughts. I'd love to know, what did you think of Rabbit Trap? Did you lock in, or was it just not your thing? Let me know what you thought spoiler free down in the comments. Also, if you have any theories or certain elements you'd like to talk about, let me know down below. Just make sure it's marked as a spoiler, that's all. And yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, and go watch some movies. I'll see you in the next one.